Back again for another video. So I figured I'll do a video on excuse me, just woke up. But it was on my mind in my sleep, I guess. So I figured I'd do a video on civilization versus nature and the construct. I think this is important because this goes with my last video. I told you guys I was going to go in depth in it, so here it is. The whole narrative of women saying that they don't need a man for anything is one that is it's almost like saying I don't need air. Well, realistically, if you think about it, you need air because you have to breathe. You know, this is how we get our Krebs cycle going. You know, this is how we feed our cells in our body. Oxygen is very important. You need it, but due to the fact that it's so abundant, no one ever considers how important air is. Not saying that, you know, if you ask the person, is air important, would they say yes or no, that they would say no. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you don't wake up in the morning and say, thank God there's air. You know, you don't do that. And likewise, you don't wake up in the morning as a woman and say, thank God there's somebody keeping my lights on, building civilization and keeping civilization going. It's so abundantly apparent that it's not apparent at all, apparently. Because that's where this whole narrative comes from. I don't need a man. It comes from the comfort level of women feeling so secure in civilization that they forget nature actually exists. They forget that they are actually the weaker vessel in many ways, that are tied to the physical world. It's because, you know, we've been so many generations within living in civilization that this knowledge of that civilization is maintained and provided by men has not been passed down through the generations. It's almost an entitlement mindset. Everyone thinks they're entitled to civilization just because they were born in it. Men on the other hand, we always striving to improve our physical attributes. I'm not saying that our body, but we seek to create extensions of what our capabilities are. So, you know, communication went from smoke signals to cell phones. You know, traveling went from donkeys to Porsches. I mean, you know, we create extensions of these things that we need to do as men in order to maintain our civilizations. That's the reason why you see the things that we have now versus what they used to be. They're just an exponent of the derivative. That's it. But my point, women definitely need men. Because without men, there's no civilization. Like I've stated before, if women built a civilization, I don't recall many that were built and founded by women, and that are still around today, if any existed. I haven't heard of any, but I'm pretty sure, I think there was one, but I don't remember the name of it or when it was. I'm very poor at history, by the way. But women definitely need civilization, and therefore women definitely need men. They need protection and provision. And this whole idea that women somehow are now these autonomous beings when it comes to their own protection and provision is ridiculous. Yes, a woman can get a gun. Yes, a woman can go get a job, but who created the gun? Who created the job? When you break things down to their fundamental level, a woman cannot escape a man's protection and provision and expect to have the same rate of survivability in the natural world. Civilization is a buffer between women and nature. There's a buffer, and men maintain that buffer. So by proxy, it may not be directly, but by proxy, women definitely need men. And this is just to speak to the physical world. This isn't saying that men don't need women, because we do in many ways when it comes to dealing with the feminine aspect of what they control and what they are good at. We need them for that because men can't do it, obviously. But for all else things, when it comes to the physical world, men don't need women for a lot. We don't need women for a lot in that aspect. We have that covered. So I think it's very important for women to acknowledge this, because it helps put them back into a mind state that they need to have reverence for men instead of they need to feel entitled to what a man has and is. Because when you come from a position of reverence, you come from a position of humility, meaning that there's something about this person that you revere, that you may not have a level of within yourself, and that will garner respect and honor naturally. But this all starts with the individual, and until women, hit that aspect correctly, they'll go in an entitled mode. When you're entitled to something and you don't get it, you become disrespectful. This is the equivalent of what we're seeing today when it comes to how women interact with men, especially when it comes to their demeanor and mannerisms when handling the interaction between men and women. Well, from a woman to a man. That demeanor comes from an entitlement space. It's because they feel like they're entitled to behave the way they do to a man, disregarding the fact that men are the reason that they even get that entitlement in the first place. So-called entitlement, quote unquote. It's crazy to watch. And once again, this is no secret. This is no secret at all. Like I was talking in the chat, I was talking to BGS yesterday. And I was telling, and everybody knows this, but this is something I always say. Nature always seeks to destroy civilization. It always seeks to destroy civilization because civilization is not a natural component of nature. It's not. So it's the world always seeks to bring itself to homeostasis. And it seeks to bring itself to homeostasis. And what humans are doing to the earth is counterproductive to what nature is trying to do. Sometimes, not all the time. Well, most times, because the way we live, we want to be comfortable, and nature is not comfortable. There's nothing comfortable about laying out in the grass, baking to death. There's nothing comfortable about that. There's nothing comfortable about having to walk miles and miles just to get water. Now we can go to our faucets that we built and get water right at the tap. That's civilization versus nature. So unless y'all women want to go back to fighting off large beasts chasing you while you're pregnant, be thankful that men have created civilization. But anyways, like, comment, and share. You got anything to say? Leave a comment, definitely. Somebody needs to hear this, share it. If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, thumbs down it. That lets me know that some level of feedback is important, to my viewership, or to me, from my viewership, because it helps me critique my topics. Not saying that I'm moving based on what my audience likes or dislike, but it lets me know that, hey, you did a good job explaining this, or there may need to be some more explanation added on to this through the comments, likes, and things of that sort. But anyways, this has been a Wolf in Beta Clothes. May you have a good day, and peace be with you. Oh yeah, one more thing. I wanted to add to that. No, whatever. One more thing. But I want to make it clear about the civilization and nature trying to destroy civilization part. Before I go, if you notice, everything that man builds decays. But this is true across the board when it comes to nature. Even the things that nature builds decay. But this is just a natural consequence of the physical world. Although at the same time, when a tree decays, it gets broken down to basic things that refeed the new trees that are going to grow. Whereas when civilization decays, that does not necessarily happen. It's not like buildings are going to go back into the ground and feed new buildings, and buildings are going to come up. No, that's not how it works. The things that men build decay, and they have to be rebuilt by man. This is not true according to nature, because the things that nature destroys, usually nature rebuilds, or it brings in a niche. A niche is basically something to fill the slot that took the spot of what used to be but now is. So just to be clear on that, nature is always seeking to destroy everything that man has built, and it's up to men to maintain these things. Nature is not going to maintain these things. Neither are women. Women don't have the ability or capabilities to maintain civilization. Do they have the willpower? Possibly. They might have the willpower to do it. With modern day technology, could they do it? Possibly. But for the past, I don't know, how many years has civilization been around? You count them. Men have mostly been in charge of maintaining that. So I just wanted to make that clear real quick so that you guys understood that, what I meant about nature always attacking civilization, because it's not seeking to rebuild it. Only men are seeking to rebuild civilization. Nature does not rebuild civilization. Nature rebuilds nature, and that's it. But anyways, I'm out this time. This has been a Wolf in Beta Clothes. Like, comment, and share. May you guys have a good day, and peace be with you. I'm out.